Who is Andrew Holness? Is he the Prime Minister of Jamaica, or is he a lying, two-faced gangster stealing money from the country and exploiting the people? Stick around till the end of this video to find out. So other than people just don't trust this man due to the millions of dollars that has suddenly gone missing from the TAJ Tax Administration Jamaica, really, what is the problem with Andrew Holness?
When the government does something good, there is no credit.
Let's see. Maybe his act of buying 100 new buses, which is needed, but right in time for the election to swing votes in his favor. So obvious. Or maybe it's the time when he used money from the country public purse to import doctors from Cuba and pay them to do the jobs of Jamaican doctors, because Jamaican doctors were on protest, funnily, for their extra time paid that the government has owed them. So this government rather spend the money, import doctors and pay these doctors instead of paying the Jamaican doctors for them overtime.
Monday afternoon, a source at the hospital told TVJ News that the facility was empty. The individual said Cuban doctors were sent to the hospital who do not understand English. In his words, they didn't last an hour.
Corruption in the health sector. Medical doctors take industrial action. Hospitals and health centers went into emergency mode, rescheduling elective surgeries and other appointments.
Now, the industrial action forced the Labour Ministry to call an emergency meeting with junior doctors and the Finance Ministry to talk about issues such as overtime and retroactive payment.
That on January 24th, based on the utterances in Parliament, we were hearing what we thought was an assurance that money had been set aside to complete the payments for several persons in the health sector, and the doctors, the consultants, were mentioned by name as one of the groups that would have been settled with this additional funds. So when we're hearing now that the funds are not there, it causes persons to wonder, so is it that the funds are allocated to us and then moved at the last minute for something else, which would have been unfair, considering that we're the only group that has not yet been paid or retroactive salary.
Junior doctors are showing solidarity with medical consultants.
Today we are wearing black to show our support for their cause. The Ministry of Finance and Public Service has been disingenuous in its treatment of both groups. As doctors, we are not asking for more money. We are simply asking for the Ministry of Labour, the Ministry of Finance, and the Ministry of Health to simply pay us what they owe us. The JMD and the AJMC are two different unions, but we're one profession. And if you have done injustice to one, you haven't done injustice to all.
They don't want a raise, they don't want, and they just want to pay for the overtime that they did not get paid for. But this government decided to make an example to brandish his power. Very suspicious, but not as suspicious as the NIDS, the National Identification System.
We are now a few more steps in our long journey towards the establishment of a seamless integrous and effective system of national identification. We ended up being referred to our courts who made certain pronouncements, which we, as a democracy, Jamaica is modernizing. Some people don't like it. And they like it the way it is. And not for, political reasons only. Some people are just wedded to the physical representation of a bank. Recently, I was in a conversation with someone who was just complaining bitterly that one of their banks on Septimus on Oxford Road that they religiously went to, that they know everybody there, that somehow the branch is closing. And for them it is a disruption.
If so many people are losing their jobs, obviously it's a disruption. The more bank close, the more jobless people.
And it's as if the banks don't care about them anymore. It's a very strong feeling in the society. The technological transformation, you use the term disruption in a positive way, that we are disrupting the old way of banking, and it is good.
Tell me now, what good about that?
But there are persons who are not yet, convinced. I believe our national identification system is stronger because it does account for all the differing and varying perspectives as to how the government should go about securing this very important objective of ensuring that, one, we have a system of a national civil registry that is a registry of the important statistical data for all our citizens and persons who live in our border and are subject to our jurisdiction. That civil registry is capable of documenting the life events of our citizens, but also as a means of supporting the ease of transactions. And that is where I want to focus my presentation to you this morning, because I am dealing with bankers. And bankers and the banking system, by its very nature, not just to mention by law, must establish a record of transaction. And the record of transaction, it's not just a mere ledger that you keep and the accounting standards and systems that you follow, but it is also a ledger of trust. There is no attempt by the government to remove cash, meaning paper money, from the system.
5 minutes later.
Very soon this position of a human being exchanging cash and so on, that is going to disappear from the banking system very soon. Because each transaction is based on trust. And the first element of trust in a transaction is that you know who you're transacting with. The person was tracked and their identity discovered.
5 minutes later.
There is no tracking of people.
In Jamaica, we go to the shop and we say, trust me, I was born in Spanish Town, in a boardhouse, 1 bedroom.
5 minutes later.
I was born in a 2-bedroom boardhouse. We take it for granted when we say it. The challenge with the identification in Jamaica is that you have several that could pass as identification, because there is no banking, there is no identification system in Jamaica that is absolutely foolproof, except maybe for our passports and our voter ID.
So if the passport foolproof, why you said there is no foolproof ID system in Jamaica?
There is no identification system in Jamaica that is absolutely foolproof, except maybe for our passports and our voter ID.
Anybody trust this man is really a dunce.
But at some point in time, you know, the verification of the ID, of the person's identity, has to be done. If you don't have it, then maybe we'll have to go with a kind of lower level account that restricts your operations until we establish your series of transactions which can give us an idea as to who you are and the trust that we can give you. If you don't have it, then maybe we'll have to go with a kind of lower level account that restricts your operations.
We're being told that we must enroll in nids, or in the next 3 years we'll be possibly fined a max of $100,000 and barred from government services and possibly private services as well. The only exception being where there's a threat to health or life or a state of national emergency. Now, I'm deeply concerned about this bill.
If you don't have it, then maybe we'll have to go with a kind of lower level account that restricts your operations until we establish, in order to bring you in formally into the system, about the concept of somatization. That is to, making people feel that they are someone important, that they have an identity, in order to bring you in formally into the system. And that's what this process is of identification. It's the somatification of the country. More and more people are recognizing that you can't just exist in the country unknown, anonymous. That existence should be recorded somewhere. It should be known to the state. And that identity should give you access to public services and public spaces. To public services and public spaces.
We're being told that we must enroll in nids, or in the next 3 years we'll be possibly fined a max of $100,000 and barred from government services and possibly private services as well.
And I really want us to give the National Identification System project team a big, big round of applause. Dr. Vernon and that team. But again, I think Ben was right. If the card has no use, it really has no value.
Even though the motion to move forward with the nids was shut down by the court, somehow the government is still moving forward with this system, violating the rights of every citizen in Jamaica, which is nothing new to this administration. And all of this paired with the hiding of reports in Parliament from the public eyes, while the Prime Minister's statutory declaration is unable to be certified. And people, let's not forget, the man is literally under investigation by 2 major investigative bodies. After all of that, what else could possibly be wrong with this man? Well, maybe it's the fact that he changes the law to suit himself and stroke his ego. Somehow, this man's name is mixed up in the SSL $30 million fraud, where the track legend Usain Bolt lost over $20 million. But before we get to that, I just want to take a minute to give a big shout out to the sponsors of this video, Boston Beach trip, a very luxurious and extraordinary experience from Bagwalk, St. Catherine to Portland, exactly to Portland, stopping at the Boston Beach and back. With food and drinks available, this will be one of the most memorable experiences in Jamaica. The 4th of May, an experience that you don't want to miss. Boston Beach trip. Call the number on the screen and get your ticket right now. Alright, let's get back to the video. SSL $30 million fraud, where the track legend Usain Bolt lost over $20 million.
We've heard how much you talk about, pride for country and how much you give back to the country. Oh, this SSL saga right now that's going on for about 2 years?
Yeah.
3 years now.
Two.
You know, because you've been put out the cryptic message. You know. How much does it hurt you, this whole saga, knowing how much you've given to this country? You've kept silent for the most part. How much does this hurt you?
Brother, it tough. Tough to know, say it happen. And then this I go on this long. And this kind of make me look upon who I am and what me did things which part me did there. On the food chain in Jamaica. Like, if this happened to me and it's going to have 2 years and I can't see back a dime.
Shit. Yeah.
And I said, Jaja, it's a matter you really evaluate like, yo. Because I remember a whole lot people say, yo, why you still at Jamaica? Why you still at there? I say, nah man, I love my country. My country love me and the people, them and government, everybody. I feel like we're on the same page, you see me? So when that happened, it lit me for 6. A whole lot of people say, yo, why you still at Jamaica? Why you still at there? I say, nah man, I love my country. My country love me and government, everybody. I feel like we're on the same page, you see me? If this happened to me and it's going to have 2 years and I can't see back a dime. And then through over time, how it has progressed and what I expect, I not get. Or I think I don't see and the help I don't get from certain people and you know see me as a judge. Government, everybody, I feel like we're on the same page, you see me? Yeah, the government alone really can't do nothing. Big about this, you know what I'm saying? And them are the only person who can go in and say, yo, this need to fix.
Yeah.
You understand?
And how active are they in it, in the case?
It's been 2 years.
Yeah.
So when you say like Miss Panton, she's charged, you see that somebody is being held responsible. Do you think that is the right person being held responsible?
So I tell
or
me,
the only
all this money missing and one person know about it. One somebody can move around and nobody else don't know about it. In a big institution where it's supposed to be really regulated, right? A whole lot of things move. And not like me alone. So you tell me, say, you run off an institution and you don't notice nothing going on. So not get audit or nothing happen or is the master so
you think
and clear this are going on for years person, and I like a 1 year thing. And people may not get back my money over the 2 years. But me not see now when I can say it and feel good and say, you know what? Right, but now at some point I have to start say something.
Yeah.
Because I not see nothing. Clearly it look like I'm gonna apply some pressure.
Right.
Or do something or start make a whole lot of questions being asked. I not get back nothing.
And also, if the word lie was a person, then we know exactly who it is and where to find him. He's in politics. Now, let me ask the question again. What is the problem with Andrew Holness and who is he? Is he really the Prime Minister of Jamaica, or is he a lying, two-faced gangster, wannabe king, stealing money from the country and exploiting the people? Remember to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell to get notified whenever I post a next video. By now, if you still don't know the answer to this question, then obviously you're a JLP member and you're just die-hearted and no care. Thanks for making it to the end of this video. Blessings. Cheers.